person who goes out, you know, in the middle of the morning when it's freezing and big waves, and we fight and we catch the fish and tag them.
Moods are nearly tides, waves we're meant to ride all through. Life's been on the bay, beyond the Golden Gate.
There's the waypoint. Look at that, Josh. Look how close I got to my old waypoint.
Grateful to my father, so teach my sons and daughters too.
I think you're right on top of it.
We'll put my heart on the line. This is because
That'll be about 8:30. We'll catch our first one between 8:30 and 9 of the 7 days. So 25 years ago, before I became a conservationist, I was an avid shark fisherman, and what we tried to do is catch the biggest sharks we could. I'm embarrassed about this photo, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. This is a photo of a 440-pound 7-gill shark that I caught. This disturbs me a lot when I look at this picture, and I don't like looking at it. I don't like being associated with it, because here's this big, beautiful fish swimming in the ocean, minding its own business, and I come along and catch it and kill it. And to me, I just think that is really wrong. Now I realize how important it is to keep these big fish alive and breeding. But I will say, going through that period of my life taught me where all the sharks are, how to catch them, and all that. And that's where I gained my expertise to become a conservationist. Being out in the ocean just is where I should be. It's like my backyard. I was always independent from when I was really young, you know. And my mom would let me go out all day long by myself on the sloughs and back in the ponds catching snakes and lizards and frogs. And when I was 11, my parents would take me out on the delta, me and a buddy, and drop us off, and we'd fish all night long for catfish. So in the years past, I fished a lot for sharks for the sport. At one point, we actually caught a shark that had a tag in it, and the tag was from Monterey Bay Aquarium. So we called up Monterey Bay Aquarium and said, hey, we've got a tag and we're catching these huge sharks. Is there any way we could get involved? And they said, call the Aquarium of the Bay and maybe they can help you out. And we told them what we were doing, and they were really excited, and had Dave and I go out shark tagging. I showed them how to catch big fish. On our second trip, I put a 320-pound 7-gill in the aquarium for them, and they called it Shirley the shark. In 2009, I tagged 50 7-gills for them. Now we're partnering with Monterey Bay Aquarium and continuing tagging studies here in the Bay. Here it comes. I work 6 days a week really hard, and on my 7th day, usually I'm out tagging. It's very physical to tag sharks. They're big and they're very muscular. It takes strong men to track tagging, all that. You have to have the fish on board to be able to do that. And I became known as someone who was a good shark tagger and who knew where the fish were. And that knowledge helps researchers study certain species. Male 7-gill sharks come to maturity and start breeding when they're 6 to 6.5 feet long. Females start breeding between 7 and 7.5 feet. If we kept a size limit, then we could keep the big breeders in the bay populating the oceans, and we could keep a healthy ocean that way. Right now, you're allowed to keep one 7-gill shark, either sex, any size, every day of the year. And that's just too much. You need to have a limit of maybe 5 per year, maybe use barbless hooks. After a couple of years, we progressed and I founded Ocean Research Foundation. What we were doing is research and conservation efforts to try to find out what is happening with the species right now. Where are they residing? Where do they go? Do they live only in the bay? Do they go out in the ocean? There's always a sign of a healthy ocean, and that is, are there apex predators in that area? And if there are, usually that means that the environment is a healthy environment. The sharks control the bigger fish that eat the smaller fish. If there are no sharks, that middle-sized fish like groupers will grow, the population will exceed the density that's healthy for the reef. They'll eat all the little fish that are cleaning the reef, and then the reef dies because it drowns and loses oxygen by suffocating with the different growth that is on it. If I have to get up at 3 in the morning and go out shark tagging, my wife will be up before that making me sandwiches and getting me all ready and helping me go on my trip. She also does all the bookkeeping for the corporation and helps all the way around. Now, this is the report that I turn into Fish and Game Department. We enter in longitude and latitude, gives the date, gives how many males, how many females, total captured, and method of take, cook, and release. Most of these rods up here, I've custom made. One of the things that you have to do if you're going to go tag is you have to have 6 or 7 outfits that are worth $3,000 each. These reels are 2-speed reels. You can put them in low gear. I actually use a harness around my back and a big belt, and the rod is in there, and you don't even have to touch the rod. All you have to do is reel. So you're not using your arms and your back. It's the safest way to reel in a huge fish. You know, you're going to all this trouble. If you go out there, you might as well use the best thing that will give us results. And that's why I go to all the expense and time involvement to do it the right way. Because then I'm almost for sure that I'm going to have fish that I'm going to tag that day. We were able to take Assemblyman Jared Huffman out tagging. Now California outlaws anything to do with shark fins. It's against the law. We were a big part of that, and I'm very proud of that. So you don't want to fish in a place where you might catch something that is super endangered. You don't want to catch things that could be hurt and die from you catching them with that big hook. In the morning, usually there's no wind, so it's a lot calmer, a lot funner to fish out here. And the tides that I look for is sort of a long, strong incoming tide, because a lot of the sharks will be living outside the Golden Gate Bridge out in the ocean in the deeper water. The 7-gill shark will come up, they'll mouth it and spit it out. They might be coming from a mile away, you know, and just following that scent trail up to our baits. Well, one of the times they're just mouthing it and they haven't swallowed it or anything, they're just tasting it. That's when you have to set the hook, because that's when the hook is going to be outside of their important parts of their mouth. You take this off.
Gotta get the line out of everybody's way.
So then this always measure.
Hold it.
Okay.
That stays out of the way. And then we'll.
So you want to bring it in fast, dump full oxygen,
6.5.
and have a very short tagging time. When we pulled this fish out of the water, it took us 3 minutes to work it up and put it back in the water. That is excellent timing.
With these volunteers, you go out, you create this camaraderie and this team workmanship that is rare.
What number was that tag again?
You're actually getting that shark and tagging it and taking data, but you're releasing it back into the ocean. So when you go home, you feel like you've done something really great, but you haven't heard anything, you've actually helped. And that's a great feeling to have.
Living by the water, it becomes a part of you. Moods are merely tides, waves we're meant to ride on through. A life spent on the bay, beyond the Golden Gate I grew. I'm grateful to my father, so I teach my sons and daughters